Hi folks, this is a very delayed second instalment of my video diary about my tongue tie journey. First of all, I watched the first video back and I kept using the word diarise, and I don't think that's a word. So that annoyed me and I just wanted to start with that. I haven't even checked if it's a word, but I don't know why I even said it. So diarise. Document is a better word. So I'm going to be documenting my tongue tie journey. The day that I recorded that video, I was off to see my dentist, and I had kind of rang ahead and said, is this some, do you know anything about tongue ties? And they had said, yes, he does. I think I delayed filming this for a few reasons. I kind of wanted to process what he said a little bit. I think I may have said last time that, people that treat tongue ties, from what I've learned, so a tongue tie revision is generally done by a dentist, but a specialist dentist who specialises in tongue ties and airways and things like that. Most dentists, or my regular dentist that I see a few times a year, is going to be, I don't know, but he looks after my teeth and my gums, right? So it's not the same stream of dentistry. As far as I'm aware, I don't know a lot, but what I've found is I have been, I've received a little bit of skepticism when I've spoken to some people. When I spoke to my dentist, I don't think he really knew. I think he was looking for an anterior tongue tie, which is fair because that is what I, as a non-trained person, I think most people expect to see an anterior tongue tie, and he was uncertain, and he said he had heard the term posterior tongue tie and that he didn't really believe that was a thing, and that's okay. We're all allowed to have our own belief systems. In my research over the past couple of months, there doesn't seem to be any argument over whether anterior and posterior tongue ties, or posterior tongue ties, are a thing. It seems to be known that it is, if that's your specialism and you've done that research, and if you haven't, then you wouldn't know, and that is totally cool, because I don't know either. Many people don't know. So what I concluded from that is that your regular family dentist is amazing at looking after your teeth and gums, and not the person to go to for a tongue tie diagnosis. So that's the first step. I think I ended the last video by saying my first step was to get an actual diagnosis, and I can confirm that I have. So not from him. I have been through a few avenues. I had a consultation with a physiotherapist who, again, doesn't specialise in tongue ties. So said that if I have a tongue tie, it's mild, which again isn't language that I found is used in by tongue tie specialists. But so moral of the story, you have to find a tongue tie specialist, someone who that is their thing that they do. If you suspect you have a tongue tie and you want an affirmative yes or no diagnosis, find somebody who specialises in tongue tie. Don't go to your GP. Well, I'm in no position to say don't go to your GP, but understand that it's not your GP specialism. So if you go to your GP, be aware that is not their specialism. GPs are very broad, aren't they? So your normal dentist may not specialise in tongue tie. You need to find someone who specialises in assessing and treating tongue ties, and that is their thing. I've had a consultation with one now, and have been told, yes, I have a tie. My tongue is tied in the middle and posterior of it. So the front part is not tied, but the rest of it is, basically. So it's really, really nice to be told, and that sounds a bit weird, but to be told for certain, yes, you do have one. So I now can make steps to get treatment. So what I know now is that you have to have something called myofunctional therapy first, which is basically training your tongue. And I haven't done it yet, but my basic knowledge of it is that you have to train your tongue up before they can set it free because it's a big old strong muscle that has not moved properly for your whole life. So before they will release your tongue tie, you have to develop some strength and possibly other things, coordination in your tongue. Then they release it, and then you have to continue the myofunctional therapy afterwards as well. I'm not entirely sure how long for. I think you probably get a personalised treatment plan, and I am not at the stage yet. I'm getting mine next month, so I'm very excited. My treatment plan I will be looking at next month. So that's really cool. I am torn between who I'm going to work with. I would prefer to work with practitioners who specialise in working with singers, and I very much intend to do that, but at the moment I'm trying to I keep saying but I'm trying to get a whole picture of all the options, and so that I can budget for it, so I can figure out how much this whole thing could cost at the extreme level and the most basic level, and just figure out what I want to do from there. I've had this tongue tie for my whole life, and I don't want to make any rash decisions, so that's where I'm at with it. Let me see if there's anything else. I've written a few notes to make sure I don't miss anything. So what I've noticed since the tongue tie diagnosis, it's helped me to really zone in on what it is I do find hard about singing. And I mean, it's all bloody tongue related, obviously. We don't have a lot of what we call proprioception, like sensory awareness of that part of our body, the back of the tongue and the back of the throat. And now I've been able to really kind of focus. It's quite obvious to me that first of all, the back of my tongue doesn't lift very much. I can do certain I can lift it a bit, but like not for long. And I can do certain exercises that lift it, but I don't know what it's like to have any other tongue than the one I've got. But I know that when I'm singing a song, I cannot lift the back of my tongue, or at least not more than once, or at least not keep it there, you know. But if I do manage to, or if I do vocal exercises that lift the back of my tongue, my voice feels amazing, but I cannot sustain that. It is not something that feels like a natural thing for my tongue to do. Like I said, I can do it in fits and bursts, but a really good example is I sing in a choir and my voice gets so tired. I'm very hoarse we have a break in the middle of the session, and I'm hoarse and nobody else is, which is embarrassing. As a professional singer and vocal coach, I'm the one who's getting tired. There is research that links tongue tie and muscle tension dysphonia. So if you suffer with muscle tension dysphonia, look at your tongue and see if you have a tongue tie. It's making a lot of sense to me. I can sing on my own a lot easier than I can in a group, because on my own I can make adaptations all the time. I don't have to necessarily sing the same as everybody else. I can pause, I can do things differently. And I'm realising that I've been doing that my whole life as a way of navigating songs. But I can really feel it in choir. Another thing I'm developing awareness of is that my soft palate really pulls down. I feel this real kind of pulling from the top of the back of the roof of my mouth, my soft palate. I feel like a real tugging there, and I feel my tongue tugging backwards when I'm singing in the choir. One thing that I am enjoying is that I'm just giving myself a bit of grace about it now, just being like, yeah, that's your tongue tie causing that, and I'm just not getting too upset about it. I'm singing and being like, yep, cool, that's what my voice does. And not being, you know, not feeding into the little voice in my head that used to always be like, why can't you do it, and you're shit, and all of that stuff. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on YouTube, but I just did. Oops. Yeah, so I am being much more gentle with myself, which is lovely. Yeah, so this is where I'm up to with it. I have, since learning about my own tongue, incorporated a tongue assessment into my initial session with all new clients, and I've been doing it with my current clients too. And I have found in the last 2 months 5 tongue ties. So it's a lot more common than we might think. 5 suspected tongue ties. I cannot diagnose a tongue tie, but the assessment that I do is mostly a self-assessment, and I get the client to assess their own tongue and go away and read about it. And I've had 5 people where we've noticed their tongue might not move fully, and when they have gone and assessed further and read further, they've felt that perhaps they do have a tongue tie. So it's quite common, and I feel like there's a real need for us to know more about that as the singing profession and the vocal coaching profession. So I'm pleased to be able to be someone that is doing that. I'm learning loads about the tongue. At the moment, I'm realising that my tongue is now a role model for my clients. They can all, not all, but many of them can do things with their tongue that I can't do. So I'm actually asking them a lot of the time, like, what's that like? Can you do that? It's kind of fun. So my next step is I'm actually applying for some potential funding, which I will share details of once I've got a bit more information. I don't feel like I can be like, hey guys, go and apply for this, because I don't know if it's worth your time. So in the next video, I will be able to let you know the outcome of my assessment with a dentist and what treatment plan I've hopefully chosen, and whether I will get any funding for it. So that will be my next thing. That will be in October. And in the meantime, if you are interested at all, that's my tongue tie making me stumble over my words. If you're interested in chatting about this at all, send me an email, gemma@gemmamilburn.com. I will include it in the notes of the video. And you can find me on Insta and Facebook and all of that. But I'd love to talk to you about this if this is an area of interest for you. Have a lovely month, and I will be back soon to give you another update. Bye!